Coming up on City Beat, an exercise at City Hall helps first responders from across southern Nevada sharpen their tactical skills and seamless communication in the event of an emergency such as an active shooter incident. We'll take you behind the scenes. Plus, summer camp in the city of Las Vegas comes to a close in a unique and exciting way for campers to honor our Summer Olympics. And a new twist on the old-fashioned house call. Find out how this mobile medical unit is bringing medicine and treatment closer to you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne. We are at Veterans Memorial Leisure Services Center, where, as we speak, hundreds of kids are getting ready to celebrate the end of summer camp in a very unique way. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first, we want to talk about something that a lot of people were talking about recently, and that was a seemingly terrifying incident at City Hall. It was just a drill. It brought together a scenario of two active shooters coming into City Hall and causing a lot of death and damage. Again, it was a drill. It brought together first responders from across southern Nevada, from Metro to the Marshals, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue to Clark County Fire. The idea was to get them to not behave as individual departments, but as a unified team. Now, we want to warn you that even though this was just an exercise, the video is very disturbing. The morning starts with Las Vegas City Hall lobby quiet and still until two active shooters pierce the peaceful morning with a small arsenal of weapons, taking out everyone in their path. All involved know this is just an exercise, but to the 200 participants, this is no game.
Today at City Hall, we tested an active shooter hostile event scenario.
This was a true test of our first responders' skills. Skills under extreme pressure. As the exercise continued, one shooter grabbed a badge needed to get to the 7th floor, and the other perched on the 2nd floor balcony overlooking the lobby, where he is ready for police to respond. That nightmare ended when officers caught him off guard from behind.
Shooter! Control, all teams 2, 1 suspect down.
Not until he goes down and is confirmed dead are the medical responders from Las Vegas, Clark County, Henderson, and North Las Vegas fire departments escorted in by officers to help the injured.
A lot of people think that fire representatives just put out fires, but today we had them dressed out in ballistic protection gear. We had their law enforcement partners providing them cover so they can come in and treat victims. Those kinds of tests of our system in today's modern world are critical to ensuring our preparedness for the reality.
The drama continued as the second active shooter managed to infiltrate the 7th floor using the badge she stole from security. Here, she is met by one of our veteran Las Vegas deputy city marshals from the City Department of Public Safety.
Put the gun down! Do it now!
She's held off until more officers arrive, killing her, preventing her from moving into offices where people are sheltering in place. This exercise brought together first responders from various agencies across southern Nevada. A tough lesson learned during the tragic events of 9/11 is that emergency workers from different organizations had difficulty communicating with each other.
We had all these different agencies from the Valley's law enforcement agencies, the Valley's fire department agencies coming together, establishing that unified element, that unified command, and we communicated together, which was important because we all have different radio channels, and we were able to use our new radio system to look at how we can communicate together and respond together, and that seamless communication when it comes to dealing with an incident like this is so important.
The documentation of this exercise will be extremely helpful to all the agencies so they can review their actions and response. But Levering says it will also be helpful to our community in another way. obtaining more funding from our partners at the federal level.
So having this documentation and this opportunity to display our capabilities helps make the case that Las Vegas is spending the investment wisely and that we need more investment to continue to doing the top-notch job that we do.
Overall, the exercise is considered a success.
And because we met the objectives that we set out to meet. And I think we learned even more things than we anticipated to learn.
Hopefully, these are lessons that will never have to be put to use. But we know from watching the news, too often the unimaginable happens. Emergency workers know not preparing is no longer an option.
We've seen them across the nation and across the world most recently, and I think that it brings a lot of emotions out, and then as a law enforcement, we are here to protect people. I know that when our officers come onto this line of duty, they're here to stop bad guys.
Now, I recently took a full-day course on how to react if you find yourself in an active shooter setting. It was thrown by Homeland Security, and their advice is know that police will get there as quickly as possible, but they can't be there immediately. So they say run if at all possible. If you can't run, hide. If you can't hide, then fight back. While on the topic of police, Metro and the community are mourning the loss of K-9 officer Boris. His human partner, Officer Dwayne Layton, said he died unexpectedly on August 1st after a 5 a.m. search. We want to thank Steve Krupe and Metro Police for providing us this video of Boris. Metro remembers Boris as a K-9 who loved crime fighting, but also loved fun events like visiting elementary schools and mingling with students. He was 11 years old and very close to retirement. Of course, this is especially tragic because it comes right on the heels of losing another Metro K-9 officer, Nikki. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you probably hear a lot of noise behind me. That's because hundreds of kids are getting ready to celebrate the end of summer camp in a very unique way. We'll tell you all about that when we come back. Congratulations to the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month, Anthony Bruno. Anthony is a communications specialist in our fire alarm office, which serves as the 911 communication center for fire and medical calls in Clark County. Earlier this year, Anthony was driving home around 2 a.m. when he came across an accident scene on a barren stretch of US 95 northwest of town. As a dispatcher who calls on these crews every day, he wanted to watch them in action. As the emergency responders were leaving, Anthony heard a noise coming from the darkness and decided to investigate. He found another vehicle flipped on its roof with a driver trapped inside. The vehicle was so deep in the desert it was not visible from the road. Anthony ran back to the highway and asked for a state trooper to call for help. The fire crews returned and saved the victim in the desert. For helping to save lives every day, but particularly on this fateful night, we thank Anthony Bruno, our City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month.
Lafayette, what are you doing?
I'm not gonna lie, definitely not easy.
Hey, whoa.
Just gotta get through the day.
How do you stop it?
Being used to doing something with a cigarette makes it hard doing it without one. If I can relearn to get through my workday without cigarettes, I can relearn anything without cigarettes.
Relearn life without cigarettes. Free at becomeanx.org. A new way to think about quitting.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to City Beat from Veterans Memorial Leisure Services Center, where, as we speak, about 500 kids are gathered to celebrate the end of summer camp with their own creative version of an Olympic ceremony. We're going to give you a little taste of that ceremony, and then we're going to talk to some of the kids about why they love summer camp in the city of Las Vegas. One by one, campers from the various Las Vegas community centers made their grand entrance into the gym here at Veterans Memorial Leisure Services Center, all proudly representing the camps where they spent their summer. Cimarron Rose, Doolittle, East Las Vegas, Mirabelli, Veterans Memorial, and Stupak. Well, good morning, everybody. Are you having fun? That's what I like to hear. It was their own version of the Summer Olympics.
An event for all of our summer camp kids in celebration and support of the Olympics, and they're all coming out from all over the valley, and they're going to be participating in a series of events and competing as teams and trying to take home the gold for their team.
Along with opening ceremonies, there were tons of events for them to compete for the gold. Some were indoors, such as that old Olympic favorite, the ring toss. There was a test of basketball skills. And outside, there was the wet sponge relay. I'm pretty sure the wet sponges were an effort to keep cool under pressure. There was even an event that tested brain power.
What are you doing if you're participating in the Boston Marathon? What would you be doing? What is a marathon? Running. Good job.
All of these Olympians had a great time with the friendly competition, but we had a chance to talk to some of the campers to see what makes summer camp at the City of Las Vegas community centers so special every day.
I liked all the field trips that we go to, and I like meeting new friends and going swimming.
My favorite thing about summer camp was when we made the projects in music, dance, and art. When we made the stingray, the lava lamp, the fish people, and the paintings.
When people across the country think Las Vegas, this type of creative kid fun is probably not the first thing that comes to mind, but the fact is our city camps are outstanding.
The greatest thing about our summer camps is our people, and that they really care about the kids and really care about their experience, and they want them to create those memories that last a lifetime.
The counselors love what they do, and the campers love them right back. Our summer camps really are great and very creative, and they are held in just about every one of our community centers. Well, let's talk about another great program for our kids. You know, you can tell kids the importance of saving money and spending first on needs and then on wants, but making it stick is kind of challenging. Well, there is a very creative program in many of our city schools called Piggy Bank, and it allows children to actually save money and bring it into a functioning bank right in their school. Well, even though it's only been in existence since 2012, kids in the 2015-2016 year saved a record $70,000+. We're going to tell you more about that program and show you why it's valuable in every sense of the word. We visited Hollingsworth Elementary School last year on a Wednesday morning, and this is what we saw. Students lining up in the hallway not to get something, but to give something. They're handing over allowances and hard-earned money to Silver State Credit Union, a real functioning bank set up in their school. It's a program called Piggy Bank, and the model was developed by United Way's Young Philanthropist Society, or YPS, and Silver State. We caught up with the co-chair of YPS. He said the idea is not only to teach the children how to save, but why it's important to save.
You have a bank and they're putting some money and you say good job or give them a sticker, but what's the bigger picture? So we felt that an educational, an actual curriculum component was essential to really tie the two together.
They brought in Anson, a financial literacy company, to help the teachers come up with a classroom plan to go hand in hand with the bank.
That whole concept really comes in the modified class that fits into the school schedule on a weekly basis. So they're getting that touch point in it via a curriculum, via chapters and quizzes and interaction that says, this is what a need is, this is what a want is.
It's not a required program, but it's certainly becoming a popular one, and one that is benefiting entire families.
The ancillary effect was the parents are getting some financial literacy, or maybe afraid to have their own bank account, but their kid at school, well, heck, it's got to be good if they're learning it at school. So they would start, funding some of their own, financial matters through that bank account as well, too.
The kids broke the record in the last school year, saving well over $73,000 at Hollingsworth, Bracken, and Long elementary schools. And if you think they're saving for toys and candy, think again. We asked some of the kids at Hollingsworth about their goals, and many said they're saving for college.
So I can have a good job when I'm bigger.
What are you saving for?
To be a doctor.
Justin says Piggy Bank may seem like a program that might only benefit at-risk schools, but it could prove to be valuable in schools of all economic levels.
Mom and dad can make a healthy salary and, provide well for their kid. That doesn't mean they're sitting around the dinner table talking about financial literacy.
Obtaining financial literacy is important to anyone, and the Piggy Bank program is proving it's never too early to start forming these valuable habits.
Thank you for saving. See you next week. Thank you.
Well, the United Way and the Young Philanthropist Society are hoping that they can expand this program to other schools. Well, many of you probably don't remember the olden days when doctors would pack up their blood pressure cuffs, thermometers, and stethoscopes and go visit their patients in their home. It was especially helpful to patients who were too ill to travel or had transportation issues. Well, now in the city of Las Vegas, there's a new spin on house calls. It's called Medicine on the Move, and it could be coming to a neighborhood near you. You can't miss it. This 45-foot-long medical clinic with the main goal of bringing medicine to you.
This is a state-of-the-art facility. It just happens to be on wheels.
Las Vegas city leaders took a tour of this mobile medical clinic as it made its first stop at City Hall. The city is one of the partners in this new method of dispensing medicine. Health Plan of Nevada and Southwest Medical are the other two. They joined forces to design and commission the construction of the center called Medicine on the Move.
This is our latest innovation in terms of bringing care to the community. It was principally thought about to service our Medicaid population, obviously. With the Affordable Care Act, the expansion of enrollment, we found that there's a need to go into the communities, try to reach the people and provide the level of services that they need in a more convenient fashion.
It is equipped with staff, 2 exam rooms, a digital suite for basic radiology and mammography. There's refrigeration for vaccines and blood draws. Eye exams can be administered, and there's even a comfortable waiting area.
There's nothing basically that we do in one of our brick and mortar clinics that can't be done here.
The idea came about because many elderly residents or people with transportation challenges were finding it difficult to make it to the brick and mortar clinics. So much so, the facilities were experiencing a 30 to 40% no-show rate. Now, this mobile unit will be able to go to the patients at community centers and senior centers, predominantly in the Las Vegas community, but also in northern Nevada. Citizens can call 1-800-382-0807 or go to the dedicated website, medicineonthemovenv.com, for a wealth of information.
If any of the viewers go there, they can see the calendar for 2 months at a time where it's going to be. And if they're participating in one of our plans, they can certainly come down and have an office visit.
It not only will serve Las Vegas residents, city employees can utilize it as well.
The community partnership between Southwest Medical and Health Plan of Nevada and the city is long-standing, so being able to have this type of vehicle, if you will, to both our citizens and our employees is just an outstanding opportunity for us to partner with them and to deliver health care to our citizens.
It truly is a new spin on the old-fashioned house call.
We're looking forward to obviously success reaching those in the community that need to be reached, that have challenges with basic transportation. Principally, that's our focus. And I'm optimistic that it'll be successful and that in a year from now we'll have the second one on order.
One of the other advantages is the doctors on board Medicine on the Move become the primary physicians for the patients who visit, allowing them to do referrals right on the spot. Here's a list of the community centers where you can expect to see Medicine on the Move: East Las Vegas Community Center, Doula Gym, Doolittle Community Center, and Mirabelli Community Center. Well, speaking of health issues, did you know that there could be swimming pools in your neighborhood that are a health hazard? We'll tell you all about that and how to get it fixed when we come back.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
Welcome back to City Beat from Veterans Memorial Leisure Services Center. Well, it seems as though the housing market is bouncing back in Las Vegas, but still there remain some empty houses. Now, they're not only an eyesore, but as we learned out in the field with rapid response and code enforcement, they can actually be a hazard to your health. This team of two is about to tackle a nasty task.
This water is so black.
This vacant home is home to what Las Vegas code enforcement and health officials call a green pool because of the algae that forms in the water. These stagnant pools are unpleasant and unhealthy to those who live anywhere nearby.
People are walking away from their homes. The pool pumps are off, the power's off to the house. Without the pool pump operating, the pool turns green, which is a possibility for West Nile virus growth and mosquitoes.
In this case, like most, a neighbor has called Las Vegas code enforcement to complain about the stench and the mosquito breeding dangers. There are several attempts to get the bank or homeowner to take care of the mess before the city's rapid response team has to step in and do the cleanup.
So initially, code enforcement comes out, starts the case process. Once they get to a certain point, they refer it to us for pumping. If they can't get the owner or the bank to respond, then we're called to come out and pump it.
It's a tedious and rather unpleasant process that can take a few hours to complete. So when the pool is emptied, the team takes a couple of extra steps to make sure the yard stays safe.
After they're done draining the pool, our rapid response team will lock the gate.
Okay.
So it will not be a trip hazard.
And they don't have to come back.
We put some chemicals in it to also kill anything left behind in it, and anything future, like future rain that may fall in it. Hopefully the chemicals will keep the mosquitoes from building up in it.
The price tag on this process, about $380, which just gets tacked onto the cost of the property when it gets sold. So the process can be a little disruptive to the neighborhood due to the hoses in the street and the upturned manhole cover, but the team says they often get a big thank you from neighbors.
Because we're taking away the threat of mosquitoes in West Nile, getting rid of an odor, because there's usually an odor associated with the pool being abandoned, and taking away a hazard from any children falling in it and drowning.
If you have a green pool in your neighborhood, just call 229-6515 and they'll come on out and clean it out. Well, we have a tip of the hat to 2 city employees who have been included on a list with the likes of vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine and many mayors and city council members from prominent cities across the country. It's the Chris Traeger list, and it boasts the top 100 government influencers in our country. Our city manager, Betsy Fretwell, and Jennifer Davies, our PIO, are on that list. It's put out by a group called Energizing Local Government Leaders, or ELGL, and it is based on the influence that an individual is having inside and outside their community through professional associations, publications, and presentations. In the write-up featuring Betsy Fretwell, she was honored as a city manager, particularly during the recession. She managed to reduce the structural deficit by more than 80%, keep the city running, and was instrumental in turning the corner on the recession, all the while keeping employees and residents informed through town halls and social media. Jennifer Davies has pulled residents in from across Las Vegas and across the world through the city's many social media outlets, from Instagram to Facebook. The write-up specifically named Daily Dose as an informative news source found on Facebook and Periscope. It's an informal look at what's going on in the city or what the city residents are talking about. We also want to mention that Assistant Sheriff Kirk Primus of Metro also made that list. Congratulations to him as well. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of City Beat from Veterans Memorial Leisure Services Center. There's so much available here. They're located at 101 Pavilion Center Drive. Now, as we go to close, we want to take you to the sights and sounds of a senior splash held at the Las Vegas Municipal Pool on August 11th. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.